Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Let us take a moment to go into prayer. Divine Spirit, we are so grateful to be able to gather here together, those of us in person and those watching online, either with us or later on. We are grateful to have this space and this community to be able to lift each other up in prayer and to share that with the world. There's gratitude for everything. Always things to be grateful for, to pray for, and to honor and love and cherish as we honor, love, and cherish each other. We send prayers out from our community to everywhere in the world, especially in places that are ravaged by war or violence or cruelty. We send this light of love and peace to everyone, every being. Thank you again for being here this morning and sharing your love and light. So be it. Amen. And our affirmation for today is, I open myself to the divine flow of goodness, ideas, and substance. So we welcome you to Unity of Mesa, where we enlighten, empower, and energize one another to uplift our world through a greater expression of God. And I am Candy Lewis. I'll be doing platform and meditation today. And Arne Richardson is our guest speaker. Kenya Cribb is our board member of the day. And the multi-talented Dennis Hubert is our musician.
Good morning. Thanks for coming. The order of service said, sing wide the doors. So let's sing wide the doors this morning. Sing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand now what I'm here for and what this life is about. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. About lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. There's a voice that I've heard for years. I'd learned to keep it inside. But now it's coming in loud and clear. I want a deeper life. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand, about lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine.
Thank you, Dennis, for helping us sing and swing wide the doors. Well, I have a few things to share with you this beautiful morning. Our youth have emptied the food drive bins all week and are so grateful for all the donations. The bin will be out the rest of today if you're driving by later. The food drive benefits United Food Bank. Next Sunday is Halloween, and youth ministry will be open. If you are interested in volunteering for a special Halloween activity for the kids after service, please contact Dennis, and his email is dennis@unityofmesa.org, or see him after service today. And if you're a parent of a preschooler ages 3 to 5 and are interested in having a conversation on what reopening our nursery would look like, also please contact Reverend Judy, and her email is judy@unityofmesa.org. And speaking of Reverend Judy, she will be hosting at the church a 3-day workshop, Stay Retreat for Men. We're excited to offer this first-time event, The Art of Masculine Presence, to our Unity community in order to support our men as they explore at a deeper level their relationships, hidden shadows, fears, and dreams. You can sign up and pick up a flyer in the bookstore or on our website. So please read the flyer or website for details on dates, times, and all the info about this amazing program. Dennis Hubert, our licensed Unity teacher in training, is teaching Discovering Wholeness Within, based on Robert Brunett's book, The Quest for Wholeness. This is an online class where you will discover your own innate wholeness and learn how to apply it to your life situations. Gretchen Bickert, our Gong meditation facilitator, and Reverend Judy will host another grief workshop on December 4th. If you have experienced the loss of a loved one and would like a chance to work with your grief, you're invited to join them in honoring your loss and to be supported in living with your ongoing grief. You can find more information, dates, times, and registration on all our classes, events, and more on our Things for You to Know page at unityofmesa.org. Thank you all for sharing your love and light with us this morning. Please know that your soul is welcome here. And now let's share our guiding statement to remind us why we come together. Say with me, we are here to experience more of the fullness of who we truly are in order to transform the world. All are welcome here.
Good morning. Be careful what you ask for. One day, Judy and I were talking, and I volunteered that if she ever needed somebody to get up here and do this, I would. And so here I am. So for the mini lesson, Judy wants me to talk about the ministry model that we have here at Unity of Mesa, how it's run, what the board's role is, and a little bit about our ministerial search. So most churches are minister-centric. They're driven by the minister. And this church is ministry-driven. And so basically what it works out to be is there's a Carver method. It's a way of governing. And Kathy, one of our reverends, likes to call it like a playground. And so as long as the ministers stay within inside the boundaries of the playground, how they play and what they do is entirely up to them. But who sets the boundaries as to how far everything goes and whether or not they're actually doing the things that we're asking of them are the board, and we do that as representatives of the congregation. So that's one of the things that we want to be aware of while two things come up. One is our annual meeting is coming up on November 14th, and during that time we'll be voting for board members, and we're just going to look at where the church is going from here. And the board members, I will say it's really delightful to see who is running. There are always good people who volunteer to step into that role, but we have some great candidates again this year, and it's exciting to see those people that are willing to start to share their lives and help us to grow this community. And then as far as our ministerial search goes, I'm the board member representative for that search team. I'm not running it, I'm just on the board, on the team. And so I'm aware of the fact that we currently have 4 different people applying. There's 3 applications but 4 people, and the reason is there's 2 that are applying individually, and then there are 2 people that are applying as co-ministers. So we have to look at that as a search team and see what we think and who we would like to pass on to the board to consider, and then it'll eventually come back around to the congregation too. So it is going along, it's going well. It's not over, we may get some more, which would be great too, but just to know that everything is going quite well at this time. So that's it for the mini lesson for the moment. Thank you.
And now it's time for meditation. If you all take a few moments to settle into your chairs or wherever you're seated, here or at home. And I always say, remove everything from your lap, unless it's a dog or a cat. Not here, of course. And as you get comfortable, envision a beautiful golden light over your head. And the light of gratitude and love and comfort and prayer as it slowly moves down your body, moving over your head, over your cheeks, down onto your shoulders, down your arms into your hands, down your chest, through your stomach, down your legs, down into your feet, connecting you to the earth as you are connected to the cosmos and to divine spirit. And as you settle into a meditative state, find yourself opening to the divine flow of goodness, ideas, and substance. Relax into the inner awareness of your soul, examining what parts of your very being are helping, healing, and prospering you, and what may be old blocks to be thanked for how they served you in the past, but are ready to be released. Find yourself connecting with the true light and beauty that is always within you and is you. In the heart of your being, know that this light is for you and also for you to share, whether it be with those close to you, friends, family, children, animals, and others, or to also be shared and spread out into the world. Knowing and having this unshakable foundation for our lives is the basis for how we share with and pray for and with others. We came to be a light in this world, sharing our gifts and our love and gratitude. As you head into silent meditation, remember to be open to the divine flow of goodness, ideas, and substance. Slowly bring yourself back to the room, gently moving your fingers and hands, your toes, feeling yourself back in your body. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
I am light, I am light. 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 I'm not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dreams I left behind. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. Ooh, I am light. 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 I am light, I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. I am light. Oh, I am light. 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 I am divinity defined. I am God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. I am light.
Try to keep me on time. Donna, would you do me a favor, put up that slide about page 98? So Judy asked me to come up with a 2-sentence line about what today's talk would be about. And I read this to her and she loved it. So it's from the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. It states, there is a direct linkage among self-examination, meditation, and prayer. Taken separately, these practices can bring much relief and benefit. But when they are logically related and interwoven, the result is an unshakable foundation for life. I think that's what we do here. Oops, hang on 15 seconds. No, that and these. There we go. Thanks. Thank you. So when Judy originally spoke to me about this time period of talking about self-reflection, meditation, and prayer, she jokingly said that I could just bring my Tibetan singing bowls and play them for 20 minutes and be done. And I thought that was pretty easy. But as it turns out, Erica did a wonderful job of speaking on mindfulness 2 weeks ago. And then last week, we were blessed to hear Karen share her wisdom on meditation. And so that leaves me to speak about the third leg of this unshakable foundation for life, which is prayer. And it's a huge subject for me to explore. I see it everywhere, all the time, in all sorts of things. And so it reminds me, too, of a time that I was asked to go train a staff. And I was about to board the plane. I called a friend of mine who was a staff trainer. And he said, how many books do you have in your luggage? And I had books. And he said, you won't need them. And so the same thing goes when I went starting to look for talking about today. I had a great conversation with my wife in the kitchen where it came out wonderfully, but then when it came time to actually start to put it together, it became huge pieces of paper all over the place. And then it comes back to being just the words of other people, which I find to be oftentimes the best to use. So I will say that Judy wanted me to remind everyone that what we teach in Unity is that prayer does not change anyone else. It only changes the one who is praying to see things differently. And it teaches us to hold space for love and compassion for ourselves and others. And I also feel that it's important for me to share, for those of you who aren't as familiar with Unity, a brief review of the Unity movement and how it began with Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, as they led people to the desire to live a life based on the practical teachings of Jesus and to have a daily prayer practice. And so people of all faiths were invited to come. And Unity has been inclusive ever since its very inception. Myrtle was at a revival where she heard this concept that I am a child of God, therefore I do not inherit sickness. And she took it to heart, immediately stopped taking her medications for tuberculosis, prayed herself into wellness and a long life. And what changed? She did. Her thoughts and outlook and expectations on life and her intentions. So prayer has been a foundation of Unity ever since our inception. So there's another slide there, Donna, on the Unity prayer. No, the telephone number to call. Unity Worldwide Ministry has a prayer line where anyone, anywhere, at any time can call and request a prayer. And Unity's people will hold space for that prayer every day for 30 days. So a little testimonial, my wife Cindy tells me that she has used that number numerous times and she's always gotten positive results from it. And so hopefully we'll all take a look at that number and remember it or write it down and call Unity and include ourselves in prayers for ourselves and for other people. So then if we can go to the slide on the 5 principles, please. This is from, one of the things I love about our church is all the literature we have and all the books and studies. So if you ever want to become a member of Unity of Mesa, The Five Principles is one of the books that is offered for you to read. And it's written by this wonderful lady named Ellen Davenport. And these are the 5 principles right here up on your screen. The first is that God is absolute good, everywhere present. Next is that human beings have a spark of divinity within them, the Christ spirit within. Their very essence is of God, and therefore they are inherently good. Principle 3 is human beings create their own experiences by the activity of their thinking. Everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought. What I'm talking about today is principle 4. Prayer is creative thinking that heightens the connection with God-mind and therefore brings forth wisdom, healing, prosperity, and everything good. And principle 5 is knowing and understanding the laws of life, also called truth, are not enough. A person must also live the truth that he or she knows. So, I can't go through all those today. And the challenge for me is that I can't think of talking to all of you about what is prayer without thinking about who's it from, who's it to, and what's it about. And so much of what people do in prayer is they beseech and they beg and they plead and they ask and they want things to go their way. And that's not what we teach at Unity, and it's a different concept. So I have to think about the start, about that God is absolute and God is everywhere, and that means that God is in us. And so when we pray, we aren't praying to this foreign dignitary out there, some big bearded guy in the sky. We're instead trying to pray to what we find to be the divine within ourselves and within the world. And we're praying into a space as compared to praying to an entity. And so, from that little book, I've got it all marked up and highlighted and all that stuff, that we do. And I can't go through it all, so I just wrote down some of the bigger principles in the first principle, which is that essentially saying that God is all. And God meets us where we are and welcomes our questioning, growing, changing, and doubting. God is the creative force. And our task is to nurture the evolution of our species. The divine permeates our lives. God is all there is, and we can never be separate from that universal power. We don't believe in, we don't teach separatism, that we are here and someone's there. We're always immersed in the field of energy. And what our job is to do is to identify with it, as opposed to block it or close it out or deny it. I've heard it said from this platform before that one of the only real sin is to deny your divinity and to not be in touch with your own divinity. And so the aspect of prayer changes from that thing out to inward. When I was reading the book, I found this part that I thought was rather insightful. And if you would put up the slide on theism, please. So this is on page 20 of the 5 principles. And as you see there, it says that this author, who's a retired Episcopal bishop, manages to demythologize Christianity while still believing in it, and describes theism as a concept of God external to our life, supernatural in power. This idea of worshiping an external God has become so ingrained in Christianity that anyone who believes differently is considered an atheist. And isn't that true about so many of the different belief systems out there? It's only their way, and if it's not their way, then it's wrong. And that it's something outside of themselves that they're trying to get in touch with instead of trying to learn how to get in touch with themselves. I want to read this one little part right out of the book that Ellen says is that the 5 principles challenge every aspect of theism, what God is, what human beings are, and how the two relate, how prayer works, and how we're expected to live as human beings. We come from the aspect that we're more one with God. And so I can go on with more of these ideas about how we are, in our way of thinking, born into original blessing, not born into original sin. And that as spiritual beings having a human experience, we're never disconnected from absolute perfection. It's just the door we close it ourselves most of the time. So I was chatting with a friend about what prayer is, and I love the way that he said it, that it's ultimately to get our head right, to connect with our own personal divinity. One of the challenges that I have about thinking about prayer is that it's like the other side, or the yin and the yang of meditation. Most people talk about prayer and meditation, and I prefer to think of it as meditation and prayer, so that we take that quiet time and we open ourselves up to it, and then we ask. As my friend said so eloquently the other day, that I go not seeking answers, but I go seeking meaning and connection. And that's what we do. That is why it's one of the reasons why it's a pretty big topic for me to try to discuss, is that it's just so different and so foreign from what most people think of when they pray. I often tell people that I'm a member of a church, and they automatically have an idea of what that means, and they don't. It's a different system here and a different way of thinking. So, all right. I'm going to go on and read this for a moment. I really have found that there are people that spend a whole bunch of time writing books, and they get the chance and the time to spend a lot of time editing and reviewing and talking to people, and they end up making it a whole lot more succinct than I do in my rambling. So it's easier just to do it. So chapter 4 is called Communion with God, and the first page says this: prayer would seem to be the simplest and most familiar of spiritual concepts. Even little children understand it. Prayer has been practiced by human beings throughout the ages in many different forms, addressed to gods of many different names. And yet this is where the confusion often sets in regarding the 5 principles. Consider the first 3 principles in the context of prayer. 1, God is all there is, everywhere and absolute good. This transcendent God is not an old man watching from a cloud, showering us with blessings or discipline when the mood strikes, but is the field of intelligence, love, and creative energy in which we live. We can never be separate from the divine presence. Personally, I find that really comforting. 2, in relation to the second principle, we are expressions of God, like waves in the ocean, and we are divine at our core. The immanent or personal God is within us. And then in relation to principle 3, we create our own experience when we focus on something and consciously or not draw it forth from a field of limitless possibilities, or God mind. In this sense, we are co-creators with God. Somewhere in all this writing I have here is a thing that says that it's not easy to always have to be responsible for who and what and where you are. It's a lot more work, and it takes a lot more presence of mind, and to be held accountable for ourselves instead of thinking that something outside of ourselves is responsible for what's happening to us, that we take responsibility ourselves and we see our connection to what is happening. She goes on to say, prayer puts our belief in the first three principles to the test. It forces us to find new concepts and new language for the divine. Many people cling to the idea of God as a daddy who will take care of them. They petition God for favors, behave well enough to deserve blessings, and be protected from the hardships of life. This belief often rationalizes life's apparent vagaries as a test of faith sent by God. She goes on to say that this God cannot be defended. This God who allows war and starvation, protects the favored few, heals some and not others. This is a caricature of God that turns questioners into atheists. This God lets bad things happen to good people and does nothing. The problem is not with God, but with our image of a supreme being who is arbitrary and only sporadically loving. So we've got our theory wrong. God is not the one pulling the strings. We are the ones deciding what shows up in our lives through our focus, our thoughts, our words, and our allowing, whether we know it or not. I spoke to, you may recall when Erica was talking about mindfulness, she talked about how to pray without talking to God, one of her favorite books. And I had the chance to call her up and talk to her and ask her about that. And out of all the different pages, the one she sent back to me was page 50, which happened to, well, once again, I'll let her say it herself. Words are formative. Words produce effects. The formative power of the word is in its effect. Words of encouragement, worthiness, and optimism build our body's immune systems, whereas words of discouragement, unworthiness, and pessimism inhibit our body's immune systems. And then there's a line here from Charles Fillmore that says, all words or thoughts are formative, but not all words or thoughts are creative. So when I think of prayer, I don't think of it as in the plural, that we have prayers. I think of it as an attitude. What am I thinking? What do I carry forth? What's my attitude? Am I grateful? Am I trying to be compassionate and understanding? Am I holding that I am responsible and not looking to someone else for what's going on to me? So it's really hard for me to put it into a singular act. I mean, I understand there is such a thing as meditating and praying, but that's when we're conscious of it. In my worldview, we do it all the time. We get, that thing about you sow what you reap. If I am holding negative thoughts in my mind, I'm probably going to be having negative things respond to me. If I'm holding positive things, I'm probably going to see things in a more positive light. The same thing may happen to me either way, but one way I go looking as, oh no, and the other way I go looking and saying, well, what can I learn from this? What's my part? How can I make it better? And that to me is prayer. And so it's a bigger issue all the way through. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for this understanding. I'm going to read again for a moment here. Prayer is where spirit meets language. Asking is not begging or beseeching. It's focusing our thoughts, aiming our intentions. Prayer is the time we take to focus, to align ourselves in oneness with the divine, and affirm that whatever we need is already ours. This is affirmative prayer. Remember principle 1, it's all God. Pray in utter confidence. every thought, every feeling is a prayer. So this reminds me of when I was speaking with my friend about prayer the other day. I love this. He said that prayer is like poetry. It's where words go beyond words, and where we have greater meaning and we create an image. It's a place of transcendence where we become part of the landscape. I find that beautiful. I just absolutely do. And then he spoke to me about the idea of, in Hawaii, the natives there call the white people haoles, and it's not a compliment. And what it means literally is without breath. And he went on to tell the story that when the Anglicans came and they would go right into their church, they'd walk right up into their church and they wouldn't stop along the way. And the natives said they're going in without breathing, without breath, because what they do is before they go to their holy space or into their holy place, they sit and they breathe and they allow and they make themselves ready. They become silent. And then they go into that quiet place and that sacred space. And I can relate to that because I've been that person who's been anxious and excited and go right into it. And I've been that person who's been able to stop and reflect and breathe and wait. And the difference, it's the same occasions, the same incident, but one way just comes out to work out a lot better for me. And it may not even be that I get what I want, but it gets me that I have a better understanding and I'm more relaxed and comfortable. And I may learn something even if it's hard to learn. But then I get to grow from it and I get to go forward instead of staying in the rut. So if we can go to the last page of those affirmations, I think it'd be a good way for me to wind up. So when Cindy and I were looking at what affirmations we would use for today, we looked at a number of different ones. And the first one that you'll see up there, you'll recognize is what we chose. And it says that I open myself to the divine flow of goodness, ideas, and substance, which is essentially what we've been doing today and what I'm trying to express in my conversation. And then the next one, I am connected with the divine within through my prayers. Once again, connection, divinity inside through praying. Divine order is established in every area of my life. Boy, do I wish, you know? And it's a great affirmation, but that's a pretty tall order. I work towards that. That's why I couldn't choose it, to be honest with you. The next one, my mind is one with God mind in which everything is possible. Another wonderful aspiration. I mean, I'd love to have it that way. I can't say it is that way all the time, but it's a good thing to aspire to. And then I anticipate God's good. When I was asked to name this topic today, I did the little play on words with pray it forward. And I think that's what we really do in our thinking and on our thoughts and in our feelings and our expression is as we put ourselves out there and as we express ourselves, we're moving it forward for what we're going to be getting back in return. And so I can feel pretty good about the fact that for the most part, I do try to anticipate God's good. And then the last one, centered in divine wisdom, I trust my inner knowing. Holy cow. Wouldn't it be great if that was true? Wouldn't it be great to be centered in divine wisdom? I like that I get glimpses of it sometimes. I get little glimmers of understanding, but to be there all the time and be centered in it, hopefully one day, but we'll see. And then I trust my inner knowing. It's the same. It's like, I hope, I wish. It's huge. So that's my little story for today about that prayer for us, the way that Unity teaches it, that I've been able to hear, is that it's a quieting of myself, It's going within. It's asking what I can do, how I can do it, what is mine to learn, and then doing that fifth principle of stepping forward and putting it into my life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arne, for that wonderful message about prayer, teaching us how to go within and being able to apply that to our lives. We are abundantly blessed at Unity of Mesa. Living the Christ invites us to remember that we are connected to Source and life flows through us. We give as source to what we care about and want to see thrive. As we each give our time, talents, and treasures, the work we do here prosper. There are many ways to financially support the spiritual community. Indirectly, through our Amazon affiliate website links, and adding Unity Church of the East Valley as your favorite charity on Smile Amazon and Fry's Rewards. Or directly using our Give online link, our Give Plus app, or through credit and debit card payments in the bookstore. All the information on how to give and more can be found on our website, unityofmesa.org. Now, please take your gifts in your hands. Holding our gifts in our hands, our hearts and our minds, we dedicate and consecrate these gifts to the greatest expression of spirit through the work of this ministry. Let us affirm together our offering blessing together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We give thanks for the givers and the gifts. Thank you, God.
If I can heal one heart, if I can dry one tear, if I can hold one hand, make just one doubt disappear, if I can change one life, that's what I came to do. 'Cause I know that I am living love. Yes, I am living love. If I can heal one heart, if I can dry one tear, if I can hold one hand, make just one doubt disappear, if I can change one life, that's what I came to do. 'Cause I know that I am living love. Yes, I am living love. Try as I might to find some earthly treasure to achieve, something to put my troubled mind at ease, can't let it be. Every time I find salvation is the love in me. The more I give the world, the more that I receive. If I can heal one heart, if I can dry one tear, if I can hold one hand, make just one doubt disappear. If I can change one life, that's what I came to do. 'Cause I know that I am living love. Yes, I am living love. I am living love. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. That was beautiful. Thank you. Well, today after service, if you'd like to stay and visit, the garden, family room, and bookstore are all open. And chaplains are available for one-on-one prayer and can be identified by their blue and white stoles. And who do we have this morning? Oh, we've got two people in the back. Three. We've got three. All right. So you can meet here or in the garden with them. And a reminder, next Sunday, youth ministry is open, and it's Halloween, so you're invited to wear your costumes, everyone. It'd be interesting. We have a special blessing this morning. Dennis has an original version of the prayer for protection that he has composed. It's beautiful. He's going to sing the first verse, and then you can join in, and don't worry if you don't learn it immediately. Do the best you can.
Only one verse today, but we'll sing that twice. So go ahead and join me through on the second time through. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love. The power of God protects us. We are the power. And the presence of God watches over us. We are the presence wherever we are. God is, you can stand if you want. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love. The power of God protects us. We are the power. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence wherever we are. God is, and all is well.
Well, blessings for you all throughout the rest of your day today and throughout the rest of the week. Thank you for sharing your love and light with us this morning.